Okay, let's dive into this. Today, we're setting our sights on a massive piece of pharmaceutical M&A news. I mean, this is huge. We're talking about Sun Pharma's decisive move to take over Organon. In this explainer, we're going to unpack the whole shebang, the strategic rationale behind the consolidation, the financial mechanics pulling the strings, and exactly what this means for the global generics and biosimilars market moving forward.
Now just think about that word for a second. Approved? Getting to a formal approval in a deal of this sheer magnitude, man, that is an incredibly heavy lift. It means clearing intense boardroom hurdles, satisfying some seriously rigorous due diligence, and somehow aligning the financial interests of thousands of different stakeholders. In the high-stakes world of corporate acquisitions, where literal billions of dollars hang in the balance, this isn't just your run-of-the-mill status update. No way. This is the ultimate green light for a massive transition of global healthcare assets, and honestly, a fundamental shift in market power.
Organon shareholders approve Sun Pharma's takeover bid. So when a headline like this drops, the real story is actually found in the margins, right? It's the context of the vote itself. We have to ask, was this a contentious boardroom battle navigating activist investors, or was it a smooth, unanimous consensus? Often in deals involving major biosimilar portfolios like this, the premium offered to shareholders has to be incredibly compelling to get them to hand over the keys. This decisive vote represents the absolute culmination of that exact kind of high-stakes valuation and intense behind-the-scenes negotiation. Let's unpack it together. Section 1. The players, Sun Pharma and Organon. Let's take a look at who is actually sitting on either side of the table here. To really grasp the strategy, we've got to look at the specific business profiles of these two entities. Imagine the dynamic between them. On one side, we have Sun Pharma, the acquirer, actively looking to expand its global footprint and aggressively increase its market share in specialty generics. Then, on the other side, we've got Organon, the target. Originally a spin-off from Merck, they bring this massive, highly attractive portfolio in women's health and biosimilars. So this isn't just a simple purchase, it's a highly strategic alignment. It's pairing Sun Pharma's manufacturing muscle right alongside Organon's specialized therapeutic pipelines. Now, what's really interesting about this is the broader context. Moves of this magnitude are happening against a backdrop of tectonic shifts in the wider pharmaceutical sector. We're currently staring down impending patent cliffs for several blockbuster biologics, plus a fierce race to dominate the biosimilar market. And that is exactly why M&A, mergers and acquisitions activity, is heating up so rapidly. Companies aren't just buying up immediate revenue, right? They're buying crucial pipelines and specialized market access to offset future losses. It's exactly why the global financial press, like the Economic Times, watches these consolidations like a hawk. Section 2. Mechanics of a takeover. Let's dig into the complex, kind of hidden process operating just beneath the surface of that big headline. First off, what exactly is a takeover bid? Simply put, it's a corporate action where an acquiring company makes an offer to a target company's shareholders to buy their shares and gain control. In a mega transaction of this scale, the underlying structure of that bid is literally everything. Rather than a dramatic, hostile takeover, modern pharma deals usually look more like a carefully negotiated, friendly courtship. For the analysts, the critical factor is whether this was structured as an all-cash offer, a stock-for-stock exchange, or maybe a hybrid model. Why? Because that specific structure totally dictates the immediate financial impact on the acquirer's balance sheet and the long-term tax implications for the target's exiting shareholders. Okay, let's move on and see how this builds. This timeline represents a rigorous, highly scrutinized financial process. Step 1, Sun Pharma makes the bid and a ticking clock begins. Step 2, shareholders review the offer. This period involves deep dives by financial advisors, issuing fairness opinions, and delicate maneuvering around any potential counteroffers. Finally, Step 3, Organon shareholders actually vote to approve. By the time they cast those final votes, months of intense valuation modeling and strategic positioning have already taken place behind closed doors. Now, imagine you own a piece of a company, and someone wants to buy the whole thing. What power do you actually have? Well, in deals involving companies the size of Organon, the true voting power doesn't just sit with everyday retail investors. Actually, it's heavily concentrated among institutional heavyweights. To secure a successful outcome, the acquiring company really has to win over massive pension funds and major asset managers. And honestly, that often comes down to the critical recommendations of powerful proxy advisory firms. Their guidance on whether a deal is financially sound can easily sway the majority of the voting bloc and completely dictate the final outcome of the entire acquisition. Section 3. The final takeaway. Let's step back and look at the macro impact of this pivotal event.
So, the crucial point is that a successful corporate takeover is now officially in motion. Securing shareholder approval is a massive milestone for sure, but it is by no means the finish line. With the vote officially passed, the focus immediately shifts to the next major hurdles: intense antitrust scrutiny and global regulatory clearances. Integrating two multinational pharmaceutical giants means proving to regulators across multiple jurisdictions that this consolidation won't stifle market competition or, artificially inflate drug prices. This means the complex, real-world work of operational integration, targeting that eventual closing date, well, it begins right now.
With the takeover bid officially approved by shareholders, how will this newly merged entity reshape the landscape of the global pharma market? That is the million-dollar question. Combining global supply chains, managing overlapping drug portfolios, and actually realizing those promised financial synergies, that's a monumental task. The true measure of this deal's success won't be seen today, but rather in how effectively Sun Pharma leverages Organon's assets to dominate the specialty generic space in the coming years. We are definitely going to want to keep an eye on how they navigate these integration challenges. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.